Okay, so by you clicking on this video, I assume that you've seen Joker. Because if you haven't, this is your cue to leave because I'm gonna be talking spoilers in this video. I did do a spoiler-free review on the movie, so go check that out, go see the movie for yourself, and hop back to the video. Because I am gonna be breaking down spoilers. Well, not break down, but just talk about my thoughts on the spoiler parts of the movie. And if you've seen my spoiler-free review, you know that I love this movie. But I just gotta talk about the spoilers, so that is your key to leave. Get out of here. I don't know why you're still here. Go see the damn movie. See the damn movie. But okay. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna mention what a lot of spoiler videos did not mention. To the fact that in this movie there is no mob bosses. There is no mob families or anything like that, or mafia families or anything in Gotham City like how we typically would see in every other Batman story, like where there's always a crime boss and then here and here and here. Not a single one here. I'm like, okay. And I honestly didn't mind that. I was like, okay, all right. And another thing that I did notice that they did go as far to make sure that the Waynes are included in the movie, but Jim Gordon is nowhere to be found. I mean, some people may say that he didn't join the force yet, or maybe he didn't transfer to Gotham yet, or something. Maybe in that version of Gordon is not there, or maybe he just doesn't exist at all. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, like, I thought he would have had him in there, like, as a rookie cop, or maybe mentioned him once. Maybe he is there, and they just decide not to include him in the story. But that's just another thing I've noticed. And then when they got to, I guess, the little surprise twist on while they were peeling away the layers to Arthur Fleck, and then he reads the letter that his mom wrote to Thomas Wayne. And then you see that, okay, so Arthur is Thomas Wayne's half son, or they have a child together. and then I'm like, okay, so Arthur is their son. Like, oh wow. I mean, what I thought immediately is like, okay, so all those comic book fans, those really strongly passionate comic book fans, are gonna they're probably really gonna hate this twist. And then as the movie goes on, and then we see that okay, when Arthur confronts Thomas Wayne, he says that you're not my child, I didn't sleep with your mother, and and then saying, like, she didn't tell you, did she? Like, she adopted you. And then and then he goes to the hospital, and then he looks up. Well, he steals the files up on his mother, and then he finds out that the confidential files confirms it, that he is adopted, and that she was very, very, very delusional. And I would like to believe that, because I don't know. I mean, like, it is an interesting, ballsy move to throw in a twist such as saying, like, oh yeah, our lead character who turns out he will become the Joker is gonna be the half brother of Bruce Wayne. And then I can understand why people would really hate that. Like, why does Batman and Joker need to be half brothers in this story? I mean, like, come on, what the fuck? But it seems like the files that Arthur stole debunks that twist. Like, nah, it's not true, and I'm fine with that. I mean, like, it's a cool way to throw fans off and just be like, no. For those of you who are really upset about this twist, it is not true. Okay. I mean, it is very possible that Thomas Wayne, covered it up or whatever, but I prefer to believe that he was telling the truth, that that's not true. I mean, Arthur was adopted. And also, trying to think of what else, because I'm gonna be all over the place with this movie. It's a lot to take in. I saw it twice, and then there were some things that I didn't really pick up on before, and I didn't really think in my first viewing of how the majority of, or possibly almost the whole movie was just inside of Arthur's head. I mean, a couple of things that I did know that it was in his head is one where he fantasizes about being on the Mary Franklin show. I mean that was very clear, and with his relationship with Sophie, like okay, it turns out that that never happened. I mean, from the moment he just went into her apartment and then made out with her after he killed those three men on the subway. I mean, like, I'm like, I don't think anyone in their right mind would just react that way and just go like, oh, ooh, and then all of a sudden they're steady after that. At least I don't think. I mean that's what I took from it. Like, okay, I don't think that's realistic, but okay. But later on we find out that none of that is true because he went into her apartment and then she freaks out like, you're Arthur, right? You live down the hall from me, like could you please leave? My daughter is in bed, like please leave. Like, and then we see a recap like, okay, he was just imagining all of that. Like, I mean, I could see why it would make people think that. What did he imagine? What did he not imagine? You know? What else did he imagine that we're not aware of? You know? But I prefer to believe that almost everything else that happened in his movie really did happen. I mean, I just prefer to believe that. I mean, I know you're probably saying, I don't think it did. I don't think it did. But I'm like, just let me lock myself into a little room of disbelief. Thank you very much. And man, this is a lot to take in. But okay, yeah, when his two coworkers like Randall and the little guy come to see how he was doing, and then I knew right away that he was gonna kill Randall. I mean, like, I knew he was gonna kill him because Randall kept fucking him over after he gave him the gun, and I was like, yep, Randall, your days are numbered, pal. So I wasn't surprised there, but even though his death was really gruesome, I mean, when he stabbed him in the neck and the eye and started banging his head in the wall, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, are you gonna kill the little guy next? Like, what I thought he was gonna do, like, when I first watched it, when he said, okay, you can leave, and then he goes to try to leave, but the door is, like, the little hatch or whatever is like, it's still in there. I mean, like, the door is not completely unlocked, so he can't, the other guy, you know, the little guy cannot reach it. And then he said, Arthur, and what I thought he was gonna do one or two things. Like, one, he was gonna say, okay, you can leave if you can get that door unlocked, then you're free to go. If not, then I guess you're fucked. Okay, but that clearly did not happen. But once he did completely unlock the door, he you know, took the little hatchet off or whatever, and then after he opens the door, after he does that, and then he closes it back, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, are you gonna kill him? But man, I mean, I was on the edge of my seat there. I mean, like, that suspense really just shook me to the core. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. I mean, like, it was a, like, what a rush. I mean, like, I think my anxiety went up. I'm like, just in that short amount of time, like, wow. And like I said in my spoiler-free review, not once did I cheer for Arthur to just give in to the fuckery. You know, I'm just like, come on. I mean, I just want him to rise above it. I came to this movie to see him become the Joker, but at the same time, I was like, don't give in. I know you're gonna give in, but I don't want you to. Just don't do it. You know? And when it happens, I mean, like, not one person in the theater, in the two times that I saw it, they weren't geeking out or freaking out or just, you know, rejoicing like when he became Joker and stuff. I think they were just too disturbed to really do that. And I sure was. I mean, I did get goosebumps here and there, like when he really embraces being the Joker, like after he kills Murray Franklin. I'm like, that was fucking crazy. And then when the police took him into the police car, and then he said, "You see what you did? I mean, you caused all of this." And then he leans over and says, "I know. Isn't it beautiful?" I mean, I felt like that was the Joker. And then his followers, are the people who are inspired by him, crash into the police car with an ambulance truck or whatever, and then they pull him out of the car. And then I did not expect to see the death of Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne, like when they're trying to get away from the riot, and then one of the followers, one of the clown masked people, they follow him into the back alley. And then I looked over to my girlfriend like, "Oh, they're doing it. It's happening. It's happening." I don't know why. I did not expect them to show us that, but I am happy that they did, because it gives, I guess, Bruce Wayne story, like here, a bit more weight. I mean, I know it's pretty similar. It wouldn't be the first time like where they tried to have Joker responsible for his parents' deaths, but instead of him actually killing his parents in the Tim Burton version, spoiler alert, and in this movie, I guess he gets them killed, as opposed to where he just practically puts the gun into someone else's hands, and then they do it, and that will just give their, just that hero versus villain arc much more weight. You know what I mean? Even more weight than it did in Tim Burton's version of Batman. I mean, in my personal opinion, anyway. And from the moment, Arthur, he comes to, he wakes up, and then, he has blood in his mouth or whatever, and then he just takes the blood, and then he, paints it around his face, making a smile, and then people are cheering it, like all the inspired clowns are cheering and cheering and cheering. He gets on top of the car, and then he just embraces it. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. From that moment on, when he's on the car, he has his arms out and everything, and then they're cheering, and then it cuts to black. Even though I did like what they included right after that, when we see him in the asylum talking to the psychiatrist, I would have just had the credits roll from there, like from where, it cuts to black, and then credits. That's what I would have done. But we did. I mean, from what we saw before the credits actually rolled, I did like. And I probably would have had Bruce Wayne after his parents were gunned down, like where we see him crying over their dead bodies, and then he looks over, like at the riot, and seeing Joker on top of the car just embracing it all. And then we see how him slowly, like how he's crying, he slowly stops, and then we see rage in his eyes, and he's looking right at Joker right as that's happening. I mean, that would have been cool. I still got goosebumps when that happened, like, oh shit. It's like a little reversed here. Like in Tim Burton's version, Batman created Joker, and I guess you can say, for argument's sake, he did create Joker, or well, no. Well, in that version he did, but in the Dark Knight trilogy, he just attracted the Joker. And here, the Joker created Batman, I think it's safe to say, even though I guess the directors say that Batman doesn't exist in this version of the story or whatever. But, in our minds, all of us fans, in our minds, is like, yeah, the Joker created Batman in this take. But, yeah, I mean, like, I did have moments of geeked out. As disturbed as I was, I did have moments of nerdgasms. And even in that shot where we see Bruce Wayne standing over his, like the dead bodies of, over, his parents' dead bodies. I mean, the imagery, the way Bruce looked in that shot, I'm like, I feel the presence of Batman already. And like, I know it was that moment where Arthur's laughing in the asylum, and the psychiatrist asked him what's so funny, and he said, I just thought of a joke. And she's asking him like, well, what is it? And he said, you wouldn't get it. And then we see him walking down the hallway with I guess leaving bloody footprints, and then he tries to get away from the orderlies, and they're trying to get him. Like, and I guess he either escapes or he gets caught. I want to believe that he got away somehow, or I don't know. I mean, I thought the movie was done really well, and it is great as a standalone movie, even though I did have moments where I'm like, ooh, that would be so cool to see more of this Joker and a grown-up Bruce Wayne becoming Batman and just have them, you know, do their thing, you know? But I get it, the age difference and such. But, I mean, like, I am at peace with the idea that this movie is gonna just be one take, and then from whatever happens from here on out with the Batman story is gonna be totally separate from this movie. And I think it might be for the best. Might be for the best. And it okay. Yeah, like when it leads up to him becoming Joker and getting ready to go on the Murray Franklin show, they try to make us think that he's gonna kill himself on air. Like I don't know why, but I didn't believe that. I'm like, I don't think he's gonna do it. I don't think he's gonna do it. And then he never does it. And then I think what really snaps him out of it is when he hears Murray Franklin talking bad about him, like in the background, like where he's getting ready to come on stage and he's talking to the first guest or whatever, saying like, I think this guy needs help. I mean, maybe you should help him out. You know, I think he needs professional help or whatever. And then that just, you know, like he is pissed. He is just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna kill him instead. And it's crazy. I mean, the tension is insane when he's there. And I know it's a little nod to The Dark Knight Returns, where he's guest starring on the TV show, and then, he just, yeah. I mean, it's a little nod to that. Just like how the whole Arthur Fleck wanting to be a comedian. That's like a little callback to The Killing Joke, like where it has an origin of Joker where he's a guy who is trying to be a comedian, but he has a wife and he has a pregnant wife, and he's basically, I guess, gets caught up with the wrong crowd, you know, in that story. Yeah, it wasn't until my second viewing of this movie of how much a much more different Gotham City that we got. And oddly enough, I mean, those risky changes really paid off. I mean, like, I cannot think of one part of this movie where I'm like, I did not like that. It was too out of place or yada yada yada. I mean, I did not feel that way once in this movie. I mean, I only saw it twice, and I usually pick up on things like in the second viewing or a third viewing and stuff. But I don't even think even in a third viewing I'm not gonna pick anything up. I'm like, I love it from beginning, middle, and end as it is. And I mean, like, would I love to see this Joker again? Absolutely. I mean, I just love, you know, like his portrayal, like Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the character. But at the same time, I'm like, it's fine just as one movie. It's fine as just one movie. Like, I know you're probably thinking, I can't wait to see what happens from there in this version of the story, but at the same time, there's this other crowd that's like, we all know what happened. Excuse me. We all know what happens from here on. I mean, Bruce Wayne's parents were killed, and he's gonna grow up to become Batman, and you know, and he's going to be Gotham's savior. I mean, like, I thought by the end of that movie is, wow, what an excellent movie. This is disturbing, and I mean, and Gotham City needs Batman. I mean, that's what I really thought. I mean, I had a feeling I was going to think that by the end of this movie, like, this city really needs a savior. And then, man, I mean, like, with a movie that is based off of a character who's as fucked up as the Joker, and you don't have Batman standing toe to toe with him, to basically stand in his way. Like I said in my review for the movie, it is going to be very chaotic, and not only was it chaotic, it was contagious. I mean, like, what he's done, you know, like, from ever since he attacked, basically killed those men in the subway. I mean, like, the two of them, yeah, I mean, like, they had it coming, and then the other ones, he just stopped jumping him. He was just like, holy shit, and then he runs off. But from there on, he proceeds to go after him and just kill him there. That was more of a attempted murder there, as opposed to the other two where it was more like self-defense. Even though like that was his best way to defend himself. But I thought he was gonna freak. I mean, he did freak out after that happened, but from when he had a moment to let it sink in and he's in the bathroom, I think he started to really embrace that, and I guess it made him feel like less of a victim. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I mean, like, part of me was a little apprehensive on the idea of giving Joker an origin, even though this isn't the first time the Joker was given an origin. But I think that this, like how they showed us how he became who he is. I mean, sometimes it works with a character, sometimes it doesn't. And it's with both routes, like where, you can leave the Joker mysterious, and they do flesh him out here, but it makes you think, like, what is real, what is not real, kind of like in The Dark Knight, like where he tells the story of how he got the scars. Which one is true, which one isn't? Are both of them complete bullshit, or what's going on? It's hard to really get inside that man's head. And here we're inside his head, and we're like, okay, I'm not sure what to believe here. Like that, at least with a lot of people, that's what they're thinking. But here, I'm choosing to be locked in disbelief and be like, I think what happened in most of that movie really did happen. I mean, at least that's just because of my love for the character. I don't want to believe that he just imagined all of it. I just don't want to believe that. I mean, if you do, that's totally fine. I'm not trying to take that away from you. I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, it is interesting how the movie ends, where it's like you're leaving it up to the audience. Like, what do you take from this movie? I mean, what is your take on the movie? That is it all just bullshit, or did it all just happen in your, like, to you? I mean, I like when movies do that, and I mean, it has, like, you can have fun little brainstorms with your friends. Like, I think this was real. I think this was fake. Yeah. But yeah, the more I thought about this movie, and I'm like, I have to talk about the spoilers. I just have to. Mostly, I step away from, like, doing spoilers. I have to really love a movie to do a spoiler video, or if I just wanted to talk about the spoilers in general. But mostly, I have to really love the movie to jump over to another video. And then I'm like, yeah, I need to talk about spoilers, damn it. But I mean, this movie is great, and I can understand why, like with the whole, this movie is too disturbing, and people are taking really serious precautions. Like, okay, somebody might try to ruin the movie experience. Like somebody might try to go in there and just try something really stupid. I mean, I applaud people for, like for, I guess, police officers and such, to take that in precaution and just be ready for that possibility. But I don't know. I mean, I'm getting really tired of the whole video games and movies are, like, are the reason why we live in such an ugly world and yada yada. I think movies and TV shows and some video games in general basically try to point out that, this is the kind of world we live in, and then the problems that, that people are struggling in those stories are what we're struggling with today, and they're just pointing the finger at it, saying, like, this is becoming a problem and we need to fix it. I mean, like, I feel like that's what some stories are trying to tell us. Even stories as fucked up as this, like with the Joker movie. Like with the whole mental illness thing and stuff, like where, they're people too. You don't need to treat them like, like they're, I guess, they're like a disease or whatever, like, or just belittle them and such. Like, it was really interesting to see how we've seen Thomas Wayne from a perspective of someone who becomes a villain, like where he comes off as an asshole, in a sense, and and he seems to be a little full of himself, saying like, I am what can save Gotham City, and I am the last hope. And, like, he seems really full of himself in this take here, as opposed to like other versions. It's like, I think the other one that was a little bit more fleshed out, another incarnation like in a movie, was in Batman Begins, where we see that he is just he's a really nice, really likable guy, and you see that, okay, I believe that this man brought up, like Bruce Wayne, like I feel like he is part of why Bruce Wayne did not slip away from becoming corrupted. You know what I mean? I think that he plays a role in that. But here, I see a guy who is, I feel like he means well, but he's flawed. He's not like a full-on asshole where he's just like, you know what, fuck Gotham City, fuck everybody who is not wealthy and blah blah blah. I mean, it does come off a little bit that way, like in this movie, but I see a little bit of, I see a little bit of, I see the diamond in the rough in a way, like with that, because maybe because I'm a fan, like of the story, and I'm like, I know that this is Batman's father. Maybe that's my very biased, like, perspective on the character, but, yeah, I mean, like, I like what they did with them there, and when I'll admit, like when Arthur and Bruce met in this movie, I did get goosebumps. I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. But I did see clips where people were really reacting, like where they're just enjoying the movie, like where they're not letting the disturbing tension get to silence them in a way. Like they're just like, yes! Like when the moment when Arthur and Bruce met, where Arthur says, "What's your name?" and he says Bruce, and people were freaking out in that video clip that I saw, and in another clip where it's at the very end where Arthur or Joker is in the middle of the riot, and then he paints a smile on his face. People are like, yeah, wow! Like a few clips did that actually, but when I went to go see it twice, everyone was silent, like, wow. I mean, there are a little bit of chuckles and stuff from the little funny moments that did happen in the movie, like when Joker comes onto the Murray Franklin show, and then he kisses the doctor, and yeah, that was pretty funny. And I'm like, yep, that's Joker. But yeah, this movie is great, and I understand if you don't like it, or if you decide that you don't want to go see it, but don't talk down to people who want to go see the movie. I mean, like, be comfortable with the fact that your opinion is going to be different from theirs, and just let people who want to go see it, let them go enjoy it, and if they don't like it, then they don't like it. But, and yeah, I mean, like, I can understand why this movie would disturb you. I mean, like, I think what really makes it really disturbing, like I said, is where it is that much grounded in reality. It's not that far different from what we deal with today, and that's why it hits you right at home, and that's why people are saying that this is too much. You know what I mean? Like with the mental illness and the violence and such. I mean, like the way how it all feels so real, and then it doesn't feel like it's trying to take you out of the world that you live in. It's like trying to leave you locked in there. Like, I feel like if they tried to water down any tension in this movie, it would have sucked. It totally would have sucked. Especially with a story where we have a villain and there's not a hero to stand in his way. And you mean to tell me that it wouldn't be any more chaotic without that hero? Come on. But yeah, that's my spoiler talk on Joker. So feel free to, break down, like, what you took from the movie. I'm like, what do you think of the movie? And let's speculate, And I feel like I wouldn't mind a sequel, but at the same time, I don't want them to make one. As much as I would love for to see this Joker again and to go up against another incarnation of Batman, I am more comfortable with this just being one movie, But yeah, if you guys enjoyed my spoiler video on Joker, make sure you thumb up the video. And make sure you click subscribe if you're new to the channel, and make sure you click that notification bell so you can be updated on my latest videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So until then, just enjoy yourself and be safe when you go see the movie. I mean, you should be safe in general. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like the whole thing, like, oh, this movie's violent. Violent movies need to be stopped being made, and the video games and such. I just feel like we kind of been down this road before. But I don't know. I mean, like, just be kind. Don't let this movie inspire you to do stupid shit, or any movie or any other story for that matter. Just be kind to others, okay? I'll see you guys in my next video. Later.